Today, I would like to talk about one of the most difficult de- decisions I have ever made. It was the decision to break up with my boyfriend so that I could focus more on my study. At that time, were really difficult to me because I still had feelings for him, and we had many good memories together. And he was an important person in my life. So ending the relationship was not easy at all. I was afraid that I would regret my decisions later, and I also feel lonely after the breakup. However, I realized that I was spending too much time and energy on my relationship, while my studies were becoming less important. I decided that I need to choose my future and focus on myself. At first time it was painful, but I slowly start to spend more time studying English. I made a study schedule, learned new vocabulary, practiced English, like listening and speaking, and try to improve little by little every day. The results surprised me. Before that, I knew very little English. I didn't have much confidence in myself. But after spending more time studying, I start to understand English better and become much more confident. Now I have even made a decision to take the IELTS test, which is something I never thought I could do before. Looking back, I think breaking up with him was the right decision. It was painful, but it helped me to realize what I really want for my future. I learned that something making the right choice do not mean choosing the easiest one. So I think it means that choosing something that help you become a better version of yourself is more important.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of part 2. Here is your evaluation. Your response shows a good ability to speak continuously and develop the topic well, though there are some unnatural pauses and minor hesitations. For vocabulary, you used appropriate phrasing to express your feelings and decisions, though expanding your range would enhance your performance further. Grammatically, there were a few inaccuracies, particularly with verb tenses, like saying "at first time is what painful." Your pronunciation is generally clear, but some words have non-standard stress patterns or mispronunciations. Based on these factors, your estimated overall band score is 6.5. Your 5 most important mistakes were "at first time is what painful," a grammatical error in sentence structure. Did have much confidence. Incorrect verb tense. Do not mean choosing. Subject-verb agreement issue. Mispronunciation of the word difficult. Incorrect stress or intonation on the word regret. Here is a rewrite of your answer at a band 7.0 level. Today, I would like to talk about one of the most difficult decisions I have ever made. It was the decision to break up with my boyfriend so that I could focus more on my studies. At the time, it was really difficult to do because I still had feelings for him and we had many good memories together. He was an important person in my life, so ending the relationship was not easy at all. I was afraid that I would regret my decision later, and I also felt lonely after the breakup. However, I realized that I was spending too much time and energy on my relationship while my studies were becoming less important. I decided that I needed to pursue my future and focus on myself. At first it was painful, but I slowly started to spend more time studying English. I made a study schedule, learned new vocabulary, practiced English listening and speaking, and tried to improve little by little every day. The results surprised me. Before that, I knew very little English and didn't have much confidence in myself. But after spending more time studying, I started to understand English better and become much more confident. Now I have even made a decision to take the IELTS test, which is something I never thought I could do before. Looking back, I think breaking up with him was the right decision. It was painful, but it helped me to realize what I really want for my future. I learned that making the right choice does not mean choosing the easiest one. I think it means choosing something that helps you become a better version of yourself. Now we will move to part 3.
Here is your first question. Why do some people find it difficult to make important decisions?
I think that there are several reasons why people think that it's so challenging to make decisions when they face some difficulties. Because the first thing, because that they do not have confidence about themselves. Like they should stay in safe area and don't think like some more maybe challenge and try new thing. They should think that if they maybe runs out of the safe area, they can't die like this. The secondly, I think that's because they scared the failure.
You've hit on a major reason. The fear of failure can be incredibly paralyzing. People often worry about making the wrong choice and facing negative outcomes. To express that more clearly, you could say they are scared of failure. Here is your next question. Do young people make decisions differently from older people?
Because I think that the young people will make decisions by their emotions. Because they do not have much experience, so they just believe on they feel, and I think that's maybe leads some mistake or maybe follow. But when it comes to older people, I think they have more experience, confidence, the value to make decisions more clearly, logics, and maybe less dangerous than the younger ones.
You've made a great distinction between the emotional approach of youth and the experience-driven logic of older adults. To refine your expression, you could say that young people rely on their feelings rather than believe on this feel. Here is your next question. Who do people usually ask for advice when making important decisions?
I think that people often should asking for some people they believe in and maybe have much experience of life. Like students often ask teacher for maybe some advice, and employees asking employers asking their reports, something like that, because people will rely on some people have more experience than them.
You've hit the nail on the head. People naturally seek guidance from those they trust and respect for their wisdom. To make your sentence flow a bit more smoothly, you could say, people ask for advice from people they believe in. Here is your next question. Do you think people should always think carefully before making decisions?
Yes, of course. I think that people need to thinking so careful before making one's important decision. But no, I think it's not a way, because with some maybe decisions can make the short term. You just take a minute to make decision in that time. Some emergency situations, or maybe some related to health, like someone is have so how to say that accidents in road, you just have some minute to think and make decisions. It's not enough to you to think carefully for your activity and your so to say that your activity that time.
You've made a very sharp point about how emergency situations demand quick, instinctive actions rather than long, deliberate thinking. Let's move to the next question. Can difficult decisions help people grow as individuals? Why?
Yes, of course. I think that difficult decisions have many people growing as individual because they need to think carefully what they need to do and think deeply about themselves. Moreover, I think that it's a strength to maybe change their point view of their life.
Exactly. Wrestling with difficult choices builds resilience and provides valuable insights that shape our character and perspectives. Here's your final question for part 3. Do you prefer making decisions alone or with other people's advice?
I think it depends on what kind of person we talk with, because with some Asian people and Asian culture, they want to add the advice from some people they believe in to maybe reduce the damage or the unsuccessful result. But with some Westerns, maybe Western culture can they how to say that they tend to make decisions by themselves because they like something independent and dependent.
That is a very insightful observation about how cultural background influences decision-making preferences. Now that all Part 3 questions are completed, I will give you your final band score and detailed feedback on your performance. Your final overall band score is 6.5. Fluency and coherence. You showed a good ability to speak smoothly and develop ideas, though occasional hesitations and word search pauses kept you from the higher bands. Lexical resource. You used appropriate phrasing, but there is room to expand your vocabulary to use more varied and sophisticated expressions. Grammatical range and accuracy. While you are able to communicate complex ideas, there are noticeable errors in verb tenses and sentence structure that affect your precision. Pronunciation. Your pronunciation is generally clear, but there were some non-standard stress patterns and intonation choices. Overall, this is a solid performance demonstrating good communicative abilities.
Do you think that I need more vocabularies? I want to paraphrase the words experience, but I should know this term. Can you give me some paraphrase of this word?
You can use words like background, expertise, know-how, encounters, or exposure depending on the context. Each of these offers a slightly different nuance to enrich your vocabulary.
What about the decisions? Do it have any term to paraphrase?
You can use terms like choices, judgments, resolutions, conclusions, or even verdicts, depending on the specific situation. Incorporating these will help you avoid repeating the same word and make your speech more dynamic.
Do you think that I need to paraphrase some questions some question in my answer.
You don't need to paraphrase the examiner's questions directly, but it's very beneficial to paraphrase key terms and concepts within your own responses to demonstrate a rich vocabulary and show that you fully understand the topic without relying on the exact wording used.
How to paraphrase some term like difficult decision help people grow as individual? How to paraphrase? Can you teach me?
You could rephrase difficult decisions help people grow as individuals by saying something like, challenging choices foster personal development, or tough calls contribute to an individual's maturation, or even navigating complex dilemmas aids in shaping personal character. These keep the core meaning while using different words and sentence structures.
Okay, I think it's enough.
Wishing you all the best with your IELTS preparation. Have a great day.